Alright, Erev Tov, Mitzvah Pei Aleph, Mitzvah 81. Shelo le'atot hadin al echad mi ba'alei hadin. The judges are commanded not to tilt judgment against one of the litigants. Kesheyeda shehu rasha ba'al averot, even when the judge knows that this guy is wicked. Shneimar lo tateh mishpat evyonecha berivo. Don't bend the judgment of your destitute person in his grievance. Uperusho, what does it mean he's poor? Shehu evyon ba'mitzvot. He is destitute of good deeds. This is because it's not sensible to say that the poor person is one who's destitute of money. It's not necessary for the Torah to tell me that the judges can't tilt the judgment against him, to rob him of poverty. Rather, we're commanded, even though the litigant is a wicked person, the judge may not say, since the guy is wicked, I might as well tilt the judgment against him. We're going to see exactly what this means when we read the insight. Because judgment is reserved for God, not in the prerogative of the judge. That's explained in the Midrash. If a wicked person and an upright person are in front of you, lest you say this, you have to make sure you judge correctly. The purpose of this mitzvah is providing equality of judgment to all people. Davar muskalhu, it's a logical matter. This mitzvah applies in all locations at all times. To men, but not to women because women don't judge. A judge who transgresses this mitzvah and tilts the judgment against a wicked person has transgressed a king's command. Now, there's a nice insight over here that I think will help us understand this mitzvah a little bit better, especially that the next mitzvah is quite long, so I'm not going to start today. He writes here, the Chinuch explains that were not for this specific mitzvah to bend the judgment against the wicked, a judge might have supposed that he may rule against a wicked person in order to punish him, even though that person is actually free of liability in that particular case. And that's what's indicated in the Midrash. What does this mean? Minchat Yitzchak explains that it does not mean that a judge would have been able to indiscriminately convict a person because he had sinned in the past. Rather, it refers to a situation where two people come before the court, and the court knows one of them to be deserving of a monetary fine due to serious sins that he had previously committed. In this case, a judge might have attempted to force the wicked person to lose the money that he had justly forfeited due to those sins. This prohibition states, nevertheless, the court is forbidden to convict based on anything but the merits of this specific case, even if there is no other way to force payment from the wicked individual for his previous sins. Like we say, Ki hamishpat Elokim hu, judgment is reserved for Hashem and not the judge. There is another source, however, which puts the prohibition of this verse in an entirely different light. The Midrash, in explaining this mitzvah, writes, so you should not say, this litigant is a wicked person, and it can be assumed that he is lying, while the other litigant is assumed not to be lying, and therefore I'm going to rule against the wicked guy because he's probably lying anyways. That's why the Torah says, no, you can't do that, don't bend the judgment. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. According to the Mechilta, the Torah does not address a judge who believes the wicked person exempt, who believes a wicked person exempt in this case, but wishes to rule against him punitively. Rather, the Torah refers to a case where the judge wishes to take the wickedness of one of the litigants as a clear indication of his guilt in the very case upon which he is presiding. The Torah warns that such generalities may not be made, and the Shulchan Aruch also cites this law that both litigants need to be assumed wicked. Whenever you have, it's a Pirkei Avot, it's the line in Pirkei Avot, when you have two litigants in front of you, you have to assume they're both wicked. Meaning they're both suspect of lying in your eyes. Regardless of any previous experience the judge has had with the litigants, both must appear equally suspect before him in adjudicating the case before him. This does not mean that the judge must entirely ignore the litigant's past. A judge is required to assess each case using all the information at his disposal, and if the record of one of the litigants adds to the judge's perception that he is lying, he surely may take that into account. What is forbidden is for the judge to make a sweeping assumption that the wicked person is lying and that the other litigant must surely be telling the truth in this case. That is unfair and cannot be used in judging cases. Alright, so that is the mitzvah Pei Aleph, short class today because the next one's long. We'll continue next time.